above the Conservatives. What's for certain is we now have three parties polling somewhere in the 20s, and we're the ones on the up. Now look, that is out there shared by tens of millions of people. Let me be clear. I don't support street violence. I don't support thuggery in any way at all. So if you take a legal activity and you effectively criminalise it, you hand it literally into the hands of the bad guys.
Picture this, Nigel Farage, that lovable Brexit bloke sneaking around Mar-a-Lago like he's in a bad spy movie. What's he up to? Oh, just casually eavesdropping on Elon Musk and some reform UK bigwigs. Turns out they're cooking up a plan to save the West that's nuttier than a squirrel's winter stash. We're talking space lasers, robot politicians, and probably a few hamsters on wheels powering the whole operation. Buckle up, folks. This ride's about to get wilder than Trump's comb-over in a hurricane. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Nigel Farage thought he'd blend in at Mar-a-Lago like a chameleon at a paint store, but his Brexit pin had other ideas, setting off metal detectors faster than you can say Article 50.
TV station, there's no national newspaper, Belgium is not a nation, and maybe that's why you're happy to sign up to a higher European level.
In doing so, not just do the right thing, but maybe mend some fences between this government and the incoming.
The security guards eyed him suspiciously, probably wondering if he was smuggling in some illegal tea and crumpets. Undeterred, our intrepid Brexiteer set off to find the secret meeting room. He snuck around corners, ducked behind potted plants, and even tried to disguise himself as a golf caddy. But Mar-a-Lago's layout was more confusing than Brexit negotiations, and poor Nigel kept getting lost. He stumbled into one embarrassing situation after another. First, he barged into a room full of MAGA hat knitting enthusiasts. Then he found himself in the middle of a heated debate about whether ketchup belongs on well-done steak. But the real kicker? Farage accidentally walked in on Trump's spray tan session. Let's just say he saw more orange than he bargained for, and Trump's yelp could have been heard all the way in Buckingham Palace.
Hillary Clinton, I didn't say lock her up, but the people would all say lock her up, lock her up. Okay. You want to know the truth? It'll be like Detroit. Our whole country will end up being like Detroit if she's your president.
A confused Mar-a-Lago staff member muttered, "We see all kinds of characters here, but a guy in a Brexit pin trying to sneak around is a first." Farage's face turned redder than a British sunburn as he scurried away. Just when he was about to give up and drown his sorrows in some overpriced Trump wine, Farage heard a familiar voice. It was Elon Musk, his distinct South African accent wafting through a nearby door.
Tax cigarettes to the extent where they're now £35 a packet. So the criminal gangs now don't bother with cocaine. Forget that, cocaine's boring. Cigarettes are very exciting. There were people around him that thought it was the right thing that I came.
I thought you were giving all your time to Clacton now as its newest MP.
Well, I'm allowed to come to America on a trip like this, particularly in these circumstances.
Farage's ears perked up like a dog hearing a squeaky toy. He'd found the jackpot. But how to eavesdrop? Farage looked around desperately, then spotted his chance. A conveniently placed empty drink cart. He climbed in, covered himself with a tablecloth, and wheeled himself closer to the door. It wasn't dignified, but neither was Brexit, so he figured he was on brand. As Farage settled in to listen, he had no idea that what he was about to hear would make his monocle pop right off. If he'd known, he might have brought a spare. As Farage leaned in closer, he heard Musk utter words that would make even the most seasoned politician's jaw drop. "We'll save democracy with Dogecoin." Was this genius or madness? And more importantly, how would Reform UK fit into this meme-powered future? Musk, looking like a kid who just discovered his dad's credit card, started laying out his master plan. First, he said, grinning like a Cheshire cat, "We'll replace all political ads with cat memes. Studies show people trust cats more than politicians anyway."
20 years as an MEP, but it's not quite the same link or same responsibility with constituents. I will do my absolute best to put Clacton on the map.
Those communities have little faith or trust or belief that government can make their lives better. Indeed, what I found knocking on doors were people saying, "We want to work."
The Reform UK bigwigs exchanged worried glances. One of them whispered, "Is this what we signed up for?" But Musk was just getting started. Next, he continued, we'll introduce robot politicians. They'll be powered by Twitter polls because, let's face it, angry people on the internet know best. At this point, even the potted plants in the room looked confused.
Sound organisation on the ground right across Wales, and it's from that we can support our candidate.
But give us in a few years' time the kind of government we need to turn round the decline in this country. Don't just think Elon or Nick Candy are going to save us.
But the cherry on top of this loony sundae, Musk's grand idea to replace the House of Commons with a Minecraft server. Think about it, he said, waving his hands excitedly. Instead of boring debates, we'll have build battles. The best castle wins the vote. Farage, still hiding in his drink cart, was torn. Should he expose this nutty plan or join in? On one hand, it was crazier than a bag of caffeinated squirrels. On the other hand, it might just be crazy enough to work.
Law and order, folks, on our streets is breaking down. This Prime Minister hasn't got an earthly clue how to deal with it.
The days of this project are over. We want to live in nation states, not false artificial creations.
As Musk droned on about using memes to solve the energy crisis, one does not simply frack without consequences. Farage made his decision. He burst out of the cart, startling everyone except Musk, who just nodded like this was a totally normal occurrence. Gentlemen, Farage announced, brushing off some stray ice cubes. I think you're onto something here, but let me add a Brexit-flavored twist. He paused for dramatic effect. What if we used fish and chips as our new currency? Musk's eyes lit up like a Tesla coil. Brilliant! We'll call it Fishcoin. Just as they were about to shake on it, sealing the fate of Western democracy with a handshake that smelled faintly of cod, the door burst open, and there, in all his spray-tanned glory, stood Donald Trump. Trump barged in, his hair looking like a startled ferret.
You must do what we tell you to do. Yes, I mean, Rishi Sunak's plans were completely mad, that in 10 years' time, a 25-year-old could buy a smoke and a 24-year-old couldn't.
Tories have failed us completely, betrayed us completely. Labour are utterly hopeless. You all know the country's going down with tubes.
Where's my Taco Tuesday? He demanded, eyeing the room suspiciously. Musk and Farage exchanged panicked glances, realizing their secret was out. Donnie, my man, Musk improvised. We were just planning the world's biggest reality TV show. It's gonna be huge. Trump's eyes lit up like a kid on Christmas. A show about me? Even better.
Create havoc. These are bad people. I know everything they're doing. I know every move they make. I get it. It's tougher. I think it's probably, in many ways, it's tougher on my family than it is in me.
Hillary Clinton, oh, she's crooked, folks. She's crooked as a $3 bill.
You should lock her up, I'll tell you.
Lock her up is right. For what she's done, they should lock her up.
Farage chimed in. It's called Who Wants to Be a Billionaire? Contestants compete to see who can tweet the most outrageous things without getting banned. As Trump gleefully signed on as executive producer, Musk whispered to Farage, crisis averted. But remember, viewers at home, keep your tinfoil hats handy. You never know when the next big conspiracy will drop.